I've had several people ask me about the Vivaldi board. The Vivaldi board is designed to control moisture within the hive during the winter months. Because as we all know, it's moisture combined with cold that kills bees. They can tolerate the cold, that's no problem. But the cold combined with moistures will wipe out a colony. So let me just show you what the Vivaldi board is and how it works. This is the Vivaldi board. It takes the place of your inner cover. So when cold weather gets here, you just simply remove your inner cover and you install the Vivaldi board. It's a mouthful, Vivaldi. I guess it's the name of the guy who invented it. But it is a brilliant piece of equipment. And the way it works is it has this burlap blanket. And underneath the burlap blanket, of course, here's your screen frame that keeps the burlap blanket from covering up the ventilation hole, which you can't see right now because the bees have it covered up. So the burlap blanket will absorb any excess moisture that is produced within the hive. And the nice thing about burlap, and the reason why it works so well, is because it has a coarse weave and it absorbs moisture readily. But because it has a coarse weave, it dries out very quickly. So the Vivaldi board is ventilated, as you see here, on both sides. And that ventilation helps dry out the burlap. It also provides additional ventilation for the hive, which of course ventilation is key to keeping down moisture. Now they come in a few different designs. This one here is exactly the same thing, except the ventilation are holes instead of a slot. The nice thing about it too is, as I've shown in a previous video, is you can feed fondant or dry sugar underneath this screen frame. And that gives the bees room to come up, consume the sugar like they're doing right there, without being interfered with by the burlap blanket. Also, somebody mentioned about, why don't I feed the fondant on top of the screen? Well, for one thing, I like for my bees to cover up the fondant and gorge on it like they're doing here, rather than them having to stick their little tongues up through the screen to get to the fondant. Also, since the burlap will become slightly damp, I don't want it to become a sticky mess by being in direct contact with the fondant. You never have to dry out that burlap. It will dry out naturally. And these things work wonders. Ever since I've started, and I'm in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, where it gets really cold in the winter. But ever since I started using Vivaldi boards, I have never lost a hive to cold weather. They're worth their weight in gold as far as I'm concerned. But that's it. And whenever spring gets here, the Vivaldi board will come off, the inner cover will go back on, and everything will be back to normal. Hope you enjoyed. Peace and happy beekeeping.